Coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. Colorado Avalanche gets swept by the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights punched their third ticket to the Stanley Cup final in 9 years of existence. The Colorado Avalanche have yet another terrifying playoff defeat. Let's talk about it. Most of this video isn't going to be instant reaction to the game that we just saw. It feels like the conclusion to this series was kind of a foregone conclusion about, I don't know, midway through game three. But there are plenty of just overall takeaways on this series and lots of potential discussion about what's upcoming for the Colorado Avalanche that I think is much more interesting than the inevitability of the Avalanche losing the series, which is what it felt like after game three. But in this game specifically, the start of it was just a perfect example of everything that the Colorado Avalanche weren't able to do in this series. They came out in the first few minutes and it looked like their hearts just were not in it. It looked the exact same emotion wise as it did as soon as they left the ice after game three, where I saw some of the most dejected press conferences I've ever seen in my entire life. And it makes sense. This team was the President's Trophy winner, and they're down 3-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights, who really no one believed in all season. But back to the start of the game, what the Avalanche had to do was make a statement and force Vegas to relax a little bit. It's easy to get comfortable up 3-0. If the Avalanche were to come out and score three quick goals, well, I mean, Vegas literally did that in game three, but to the point of Vegas up 3-0, if they were down big at the start, they could easily pack their bags and say, you know what, we still got three more chances at this. The Avs had to punch him in the face and say, you know what, we are not getting swept by you guys with Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar both on the ice. That is just not going to happen. It didn't seem as though they had that mentality to me. And Vegas came out, scored early thanks to a Kadri defensive lapse. We'll get more into the Avalanche's defensive lapses later in this video. But what that goal allowed Vegas to do was, I think the Golden Knights were sent out with very specific instructions to do whatever you can to take away their offense. If that means sacrificing some of your own scoring chances or team scoring chances in general, so be it. But we're not going to let those guys have an inch of ice. It's kind of like in crib. I don't know if that's a good game to bring up with a sports audience, but regardless, I was always taught don't give the other player points, even if that means tossing away some good cards for yourself. Um, Anyways, that's the example I came up with. I'm happy with it. I'm a big crib guy. But regardless, it just Vegas looked like they bullied them up and down the ice. They were smothering in the neutral zone. They wouldn't allow any rush chances whatsoever. Colorado just looked like they were stuck in neutral for 2.5 hours. And listen, a theme of this series has been Colorado coming out of the locker room looking good and then kind of losing energy after the first 5 or so minutes. This isn't just outside of the first period, by the way, coming into the game. This is after the second, the third period. I found this as a consistent theme throughout. They start with a lot of energy, a lot of punch, and then they just slowly wear down as, again, Vegas just doesn't give them an inch and wins every board battle. And I want to be very clear and, let the facts be the facts that a lot of things did not go the Avs' way. I don't think that was the primary reason as to why they lost this series whatsoever, but Makar was out for the first two games. You get horrendous goaltending in game three. MacKinnon gets banged up, even though I thought he looked fine tonight. I still have to say he got hurt at some point. They outshot Vegas significantly. Realistically, the series probably should have been 2-1 after 3 games, but you only get good goaltending from Blackwood when you're already down 3-0, so it was just the worst timing to have a good thing happen to you. It's like it felt like nothing went right for the Avalanche. But in life, you kind of create your own luck. And in sports, I believe in that more than in life, to be honest with you. It's like in the NBA, it's a make or miss league. Yeah, but there's a lot of things you can do to get higher quality chances at making them. And whenever I watched these 3 games, which was literally all of it, from 10 minutes into the series on, Vegas just looked like they had more space to operate. Colorado, again, I'll said it for the 3rd time, just looked smothered, whereas Vegas just looked like it was so easy to break out of their own zone. They just did it so quick and so simply. If there was no play, they just chip it up the boards and understand that they'll wear on Colorado eventually with their forecheck, which was significantly better than Colorado's in this series. And Vegas is just more used to that style of play. Colorado gets their juice from chances up the rush. They get their juice from Nathan MacKinnon, Martin Necas, Cale Makar. I could go on, using their speed and skill up the ice and giving themselves room to operate. The Colorado Avalanche are used to having a lot more talent than the teams they're playing against. Vegas doesn't. But at this point, their roster is so cohesive and they do have a significant talent advantage over the rest of the league that Colorado is playing against, obviously. They're in the conference finals. They weren't able to outskill the Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights just played so much better as a team than Colorado did. They were more consistent shift to shift. Their depth played better, and overall, I thought they had more mental toughness and a bit more edge between the whistles and just all of those little things, more face-off wins, like just those little things that you need to win series like this. And that comeback in game 3 is the perfect example. I didn't see them shrug their shoulders once. And again, to go micro here, I didn't see them have a single real mental lapse in the defensive zone. They were finishing checks. They were looking over their shoulder. There was not a single Golden Knight who went out for a shift who I thought was lackadaisical whatsoever. So they weren't giving up any high quality chances because they were so attentive. There were so many Colorado lapses on defense throughout this series. I understand that they had more shots, but high quality chances are a much better indicator of goals than straight up shots are. When Vegas's fourth line got that dagger goal to go up 2-0 in the third, how is that man alone by himself in front of Colorado's net? That's not supposed to happen. That didn't happen one time in Vegas's defensive zone. I promise you that right now. It's not in their repertoire. They are always on it. They're always attentive. And Colorado just had too many times where it looked like they were caught drifting or in la la land or just flatly rushed or making bad plays. There was a sequence in the first period where Colorado gave up like 3 mini breakaways within a 20-second span. It was unbelievable. Blackwood was fantastic tonight. I don't know if I've said that already, but goodness gracious, he was the only reason to me Colorado wasn't down like 4-1 after 2 periods. Even on Colorado's power plays, especially early, it felt like Vegas was on the attack. It was baffling. The chances that Vegas got on their power plays versus Colorado's as well, it's like they weren't even playing the same sport. Like, I've got this written down on a power play within 20 seconds of each other. Marner cross crease to Dorofeev. Dorofeev just fans on it. Right after that, Eichel gets the puck, clean shot from the slot, big save by Blackwood. And then right after that, Marner gets a cross crease to Dorofeev on the other side of the ice, and that was maybe the Blackwood's best save of the entire night. But again, this all happened within 20 seconds. And the theme was Vegas played better defensively than Colorado did. And I have to say that a big part of that was Carter Hart was out of his mind. And he has been out of his mind really since game 4 of the Utah series. Man, oh man, he has been out of his mind good. There's really nothing else to say. Like Marc-Andre Fleury in the 2018 playoffs kind of heater this guy is on. And that came to mind because that was another freaking Vegas goaltender who just went on an all-time scorcher in the perfect time because that's just what happens to this franchise. They just get all of the right breaks and all of the right players, and yeah, big credit to them. Like I made a whole rant on this, but they might be the best organization in the world, and Yeah, great organizations do great things and win big things, I guess. But man, just as a fan of the Canucks and of my secondary team being the Capitals, thank goodness the Capitals beat them in the 2018 finals. I really don't know if I'd be doing sports shows if they lost that series. That was just a dark, dark world. Anyways, thank you all so much. Oh, not yet. Okay, so what does Colorado do from here? I think firing Bednar would be dumb, flatly. I think he's proven that he is one of the best coaches in the league in terms of creating openings for his players with systems. It's very, very hard to do as a coach, and he has found ways to do it. Like I said, Colorado's issues were not coming out of periods. They looked plenty motivated. It was the fact that Vegas just took their will after a while into them. I think he clearly knows what he's doing. I think he's been there as long as he has for a reason. And I think he's really, really good. And I think if he gets fired, people, the Leafs, even the Canucks, I think would reconsider hiring Manny Malhotra. They would be on that guy like a crow is on raw meat. Period. End of story. So that's a big indicator to me of if you should keep your coach or not. If you fire him, how many teams are going to be interested? If the Avs fire Jared Bednar, there are going to be 20 teams in the NHL having serious conversations about if they should move on from their current coach to get that guy on their bench. So hold on to him. And this is going to sound so lame. And I totally understand this as someone who consumes a lot of sports media. Like, this is my unfavorite answer. Well, that wasn't very well said. Despite that, they should just kind of like run it back. I think this is just the team they have. I think that naturally they're going to need a lot of breaks to go their way because this team is not the most mentally tough team I have ever seen in my life. I had a tweet saved that really epitomized this in less words than I'm able to. So I'm just going to read it. The Bednar, Landy, Makar Avs, so the core, are 0-5 in series when down 2-1. 0-4 when the series is tied 2-2. They're 0-7 when they are down 3-2 in a series, and they're 0-4 in game sevens. If that doesn't scream a lack of mental weakness and not wanting to dig yourself out of a hole and flatly a little bit of front runner tendencies, then I don't know what does, but I also don't know what you do about it. Your team is the most talented in hockey. The only hole they had, they filled with Nazem Kadri halfway through the season. You're going to trade Nathan MacKinnon? No. Cale Makar is not going anywhere. Gabriel Landeskog is not going anywhere. Nazem Kadri might go somewhere, but we've seen that happen before, and it didn't change much, did it? Brock Nelson is probably there for the remaining. Devon Taves is going to stay. What do you do differently? You just kind of try again. Hope the injury bug doesn't hit you the same way. Hope that another year of playoff catastrophe is finally the breaking point for this team to just say, you know what, we're done with this. Let's fight. Yeah, if I'm not sounding like I'm making a lot of sense, it's because Colorado's in a situation that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, their team's awesome, but it seems as though the culture, and maybe that does mean the coach needs to go. Now that I'm talking about it, and again, these are instant reaction videos, guys. I have thoughts formulated and notes written down, but as I talk, I get new ideas. Maybe they do need a coaching change. Maybe it's like Andy Reid with the Eagles. Like, everyone knows he's great. The Eagles know he's great. You just need a new voice. I don't know. But again, it's hard for me to let a coach go to, 20 teams would say, maybe we should let go of this guy and get I don't know. The Avs are in a tough spot. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I want to know what were your main takeaways for the series. Maybe with a little bit more sanity and, not as in the moment as I am, you guys can figure out what the Avs should do for the next 4 months as they try to figure out their next season. Please drop something in the comments below. I'm someone off this where I can read all comments and love doing so. So drop something down there if you liked it. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed what you heard. Please subscribe if you really liked it. Spit Sports Show just over 440 subscribers. Big things happening on this channel. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.